Assalamu alaikum student. Now we are going to see about the communication and trade in this lesson. Geography Unit 5 Communication and trade we are going to see. Last video we have seen about the roadways, railways, airways, waterways. Now we are going to see in this video about the communication, trade, urbanization.
The Indian subcontinent, located in the South Asia north of equator, has the second largest arable land. India occupies 7th largest land area of 3.28 million square kilometer, 2.4% of world, and houses nearly a fifth of the world's population. India has more than 50% of its population below the age of 25 and more than 65% below the age of 35. It is expected that in 2020, the average age of an Indian will be 29 years compared to 37 for China and 48 for Japan. And by 2030, India's dependency ratio should be just over 0.4. India has more than 2,000 ethnic groups and every major region in the world is represented here. Here are some facts related to India's population. Even though United States of America ranks third in the list of most populated countries of the world, right behind India, its population is just 1/4 of India's population. Not forgetting the fact that USA is 3 times larger than India in size. The gap of population between the two is a staggering 746 million. Uttar Pradesh alone has population of 166 million, which is more than the Russian Federation of 146.9 million. Similarly, Orissa has more humans than Canada and Chhattisgarh than Australia. Even though only 16% of India's population has access to internet, this is 10 times the total population of Australia. Now we are going to look at factors for population distribution in India. Physical factors such as climate, terrain, and availability of water. North Indian plains, deltas, and coastal plains have climate suitable for agriculture, and fertile plains hence have higher proportion of population. Mountainous and forested regions of southern and central Indian states, Himalayan states, and some of the northeastern states are less populated. Development of irrigation, availability of mineral and energy resources, and development of transport network have resulted in moderate to high proportion of population. The socio-economic and historical factors. Traditional settled agriculture and early human settlement has resulted in large population in river plains and coastal areas of India. Development of transport and better agricultural development has resulted in large population in northern plains. Industrialization and urbanization. Metro cities of India have a high concentration of population due to industrial development and urbanization. A large numbers of rural urban migrants come to these towns. Now we are going to look at the phases of growth of Indian population from 19th century. First one is 1901 to 1921. It is referred as period of stationary phase of growth in India's population. Between 1911 and 1921, recorded a negative growth rate. This is mainly because of both the birth rate and death rate were high. The major causes are poor health and medical services, illiteracy of people at large, and inefficient distribution system of food. Between 1921 and 1951, the period is referred as the period of steady population growth. An overall improvement in health and sanitation throughout the country has happened. Better transport and communication systems improved the distribution system. The crude birth rate remained high in this period, leading to higher growth rate than the previous phase. 1951 to 1981. It is referred as the period of population explosion in India, caused by a rapid fall in the death rate but a high birth rate. The average annual growth rate of population was as high as 2.2%. High birth rate was due to better living conditions, scientific developments. Due to increased international immigration from Tibet, Bangladesh, Nepal, and Pakistan, India's growth rate is exploded. After 1981 to present, the growth rate has started slowing down gradually due to decline in crude birth rate, due to an increase in the mean age at marriage, improvement in female literacy, and empowerment, better scientific developments and access to common man. And we are going to look upon the overpopulation issue in India. The overpopulation refers to an undesirable condition where human population exceeds the available natural resources to feed and sustain it. Rapid population growth is the bane of the economy of underdeveloped, poor, and developing countries in the world. What are the causes of overpopulation? The two main common causes leading to overpopulation in India are the birth rate is still higher than the death rate. We have been successful in declining the death rates, but the same cannot be said for birth rates. The fertility rate due to the population policies and other measures has been falling, but even then it is much higher compared to other countries. The above causes are interrelated to the various social issues in our country which are leading to overpopulation. Early marriage and universal marriage system. Even though legally the marriageable age of a girl is 18 years, the concept of early marriage is still prevailing, and getting married at a young age prolongs the childbearing age. Poverty and illiteracy. Another factor for the rapid growth of population is poverty. Impoverished families have this notion that more the number of members in the family, more will be the numbers to earn income. Illiteracy is thus another cause of overpopulation. The age-old cultural norm. Sons are the bread earners of the families in India. This age-old thought puts considerable pressure on the parents to produce children till a male child is born. They think more the better. Illegal migration. Last but not the least, we cannot ignore the fact that illegal migration is continuously taking place from Bangladesh, Nepal, leading to increased population density in India. The problems due to overpopulation in India are unemployment. Generating employment for a huge population in a country like India is very difficult. The number of illiterate persons increases every year. Unemployment rate is thus showing an increasing trend. Poverty. Rapid growth of population accounts for low standard of living in India. Even the bare necessities of life are not available adequately. Rising population increases poverty in India. People have to spend a large portion of their resources for bringing up their children. It results into less savings and low rate of capital formation. Hence, improvement in production technique becomes impossible. It means low productivity of labor. Uneven migration. Population explosion gives rise to a number of social problems. It leads to migration of people from rural areas to urban areas, causing the growth of slum areas. People live in most unhygienic and insanitary conditions. Overcrowding, traffic congestions, frequent accidents, and pollution in big cities are the direct result of overpopulation. Urbanization. Problems development of infrastructural facilities is unfortunately not keeping the pace with the growth of population. The result is lack of transportation, communication, housing, education, healthcare, and all main required functionalities for human beings. There has been an increase in the number of slums, overcrowded houses, traffic congestion, etc. in Indian urban cities. Increase in crime rate. Unemployment and poverty lead to frustration and anger among the educated youth. This leads to robbery, beggary, prostitution, and murder, etc. The terrorist activities that we find today in various parts of the country are the reflection of frustration among educated and unemployment youth. Environmental degradation. Rising rate of population growth exerts pressure on land. On the one hand, per capita availability of land goes on diminishing, and on the other hand, the problem of subdivision and fragmentation of holdings goes on increasing. It adversely affects the economic development of the country. Population explosion leads to environmental degradation. Higher birth rate brings more pollution, more toxic waste, and damage to biosphere. Briefly speaking, population explosion hinders the economic development. It should be controlled effectively. Impact on the Indian economy. Adverse effects on savings, unproductive investment, slow growth of per capita income, underutilization of labor, growing pressure on land, adverse effect on quality of population, adverse social impact. So what are the steps to control population in India? The Government of India, politicians, policymakers should initiate a bold population policy so that the economic growth of the country can keep pace with the demands of the growing population. Major steps which have been already implemented but still need to be emphasized more to control population. increasing the welfare and status of the women and girls, increasing awareness for the use of contraceptives and family planning methods, encouraging male sterilization and spacing births, free distribution of contraceptives, and encouraging female empowerment. More healthcare centers for the poor, to name a few, can play a major role in controlling population. Experts are hopeful that by increasing public awareness and enlisting strict population control norms by the government will definitely lead the way for the country's economic prosperity and control of population. Friends, with this we have come to the end of this session. We'll be seeing in the next session an
Means of communication. Communication means exchange of ideas, thoughts, feelings, and other information with others. In this chapter, we will study in detail about the different means of communication. Newspapers, radio, and television. Newspapers, radio, and television are means of mass communication because they are used for sending messages and giving information to a large number of people at the same time. Telegram. If our message is urgent, we can send a telegram. A telegram takes a few hours to reach its destination. Telephone. Telephone is the fastest means of communication. It is a two-way communication. Mobile phones have become very popular as they can be used anywhere. Internet. Internet is a system that connects millions of computers in different parts of the world with each other. Electronic mail or email works through the internet, by which people can send and receive messages from any part of the world. With the help of www, World Wide Web, we can access any information from the internet. Letters. The most common and cheapest means for sending and receiving message is through letters. We can send letters to other countries. If the message is urgent, we can send a telegram from the post office. Journey of a letter. We drop a letter in the letterbox after writing. The letters are taken by a postman at fixed time to the post office. At the post office, the letters are sorted according to the names of the cities or towns. The letters are put in bags and sent to other places. When these letters reach their destinations, they are sorted area-wise and delivered at the right address by the postman. Summary. Various means of communication such as letters, telephone, radio, television, mobile phone, etc. are very useful to keep in touch with our friends and relatives. The telephone is the fastest means of communication. Radio and television are means of mass communication. Fax and email are becoming the most important means of communication in big cities.
Trade. Trade is an important phenomenon that decides the economic growth of a country. Trade is an act or process of buying, selling, or exchanging of goods and services. The primitive method of trade was known as barter system, where goods were exchanged for the goods, not for the money. Later on, money was introduced as a medium of exchange in buying and selling of goods. The difference in value between the imports and exports is called the balance of trade. The situation in which the value of exports exceed the value of imports is termed as favorable balance of trade, and the reverse position is termed as unfavorable balance of trade. Types of trade. Trade is of two types. They are internal trade, international trade. The trade carried on within the domestic territory of a country is termed as internal trade. It is also called as domestic trade or local trade. Land transport, roadways, railways plays an important role in the trade. Local currency is used in internal trade. It helps to promote a balanced regional growth in the country. Trade carried on between two or more countries is called international trade. It is also called as external trade or foreign trade. Export and import are the two components of international trade. Export means goods and services sold for foreign currency. Import means goods and services bought from overseas procedures. Waterways and airways plays a vital role in this type of trade. Foreign currency is involved in international trade. The trade between two countries is called bilateral trade. The trade between more than two countries is called multilateral trade. Exports. The major exports of India are tea, marine products, oats and minerals, leather products, gems and jewels, sport goods, chemicals and related products, plastics and rubber articles, articles of stones, plaster, cement, asbestos, mica, glassware, paper and related products, base metals, optical, medical and surgical instruments, electronic items, machinery, office equipments, textiles and allied products. The imports. The major imports are petroleum products, pearls, precious stones and semi precious stones, gold and telecom instruments. Now we are going to see the summary of this lesson. The total number of people residing in a country at a specified period of time is called the size of population of that country. The growth of population is determined by the birth rate, death rate, and migration of people. The process of society's transformation from rural to urban is known as urbanization. Communication is classified into personal and mass communication. Trade is an exchange of goods and services. Internal and international trades are its types. Import and exports are the components of an international trade.